In the 1950s, under President Dwight Eisenhower, America made a strong and serious commitment to building its interstate system and transportation network.
The history of America is the history of frontiers, and each frontier has been a challenge to Americans to dare more, to do more, to go forward faster and on a broader front. Always the frontier, the challenge and the response.
That network has met the needs of our growing nation for nearly 40 years, and it has helped to keep our economy strong.
We will ship about 375 trucks a day of finished product in the various markets. We deliver to 73,000 points in the United States from 22 key manufacturing and distribution areas.
We're shipping a little bit over 20 million pounds. That's in a week. Now, to ship 20 million pounds, we receive 20 million pounds, so we have a throughput in here in and out of total of 40 million pounds.
With good transportation, we can ship a $10 million computer, load it Friday, with delivery anywhere in the world by Monday.
Transportation. We take it for granted, but we can't make a move without it. Good transportation means good business. Our highways, rail, air, transit, and harbors are the keys to our success in a tough global economy.
Well, the transportation available to us is clearly the best in the world. And since we do a great deal of business outside the United States, I would have to applaud the United States as having an excellent transportation system, both by air, by truck, and by piggyback train.
Good transportation is essential to maintain the standard of living Americans demand and have come to expect. Crops to market, products to port, overnight shipping, and just-in-time delivery. Nothing works unless we move it. Think of how your own life depends on good transportation. Transportation is the difference between having food and other products on the shelves and sending people home without the goods they want.
Well, it's the ultimate success factor for us. Our customers, the retail store at the marketplace, is very dependent upon the arrival of our product in time for him to replenish his shelves for tomorrow morning's business. And it's an absolute critical factor by which they measure us and our ability to supply and serve them.
Not everyone has what we have. In the Soviet Union today, 20 to 30% of their produce never gets to market and to consumers waiting in the cities, in part because of a transportation system that no longer meets these needs. In America, that's not the case, and we should never let that happen.
It's critical. Our inbound raw materials have an expected life of about 24 hours before they need to be processed, and if that were delayed being transported to our manufacturing sites, we wouldn't be able to produce the wholesome, high-quality products that we intend.
We don't even think about it when we hop in our cars and make a quick trip to the store, to work, or over to Mom's for dinner. We're accustomed to an interstate system that takes us from coast to coast, border to border. But do we ever stop to think where we might be without our system of transportation? As our nation enters the 21st century, we must again make a strong commitment to maintaining our existing transportation system and to meeting our future needs. Today, Americans drive 3 times as many miles as we did when the interstate system was started in 1956. That's more than 2 trillion miles a year. And we are taking twice as many plane trips. But our roads, airports, and transit systems haven't kept up with all this extra transportation demand. We haven't kept up because America has not been investing enough in our transportation system. Federal transportation funding hasn't kept pace with America's growing transportation needs. While the number of vehicles and miles driven has increased greatly, highway spending, after inflation, has been almost flat. We have not been investing nearly enough money to keep up with current and future travel demands. And now we are starting to pay the price. Our transportation system is feeling the effects from years of inadequate levels of investment. Urban congestion of our highways and streets rose 60% from the 70s to the 80s. And unless we act now, it could get 3 to 4 times worse in the next 20 years. In most instances, our rural communities have the same access to the transportation system that they had 40 years ago, in spite of their needs. Improving as well as maintaining our transportation system is going to take a greater investment. If we don't invest more for transportation, we'll all be losers tomorrow. Economist David Ashour has found that as a nation invests in its infrastructure, its economic productivity increases. Japan's level of non-military public sector investment is nearly 5% of its total national output each year. They enjoy a 3.5% annual growth in their economic productivity. By this same measure, America invests only 0.5% of our total national output, achieving a 0.5% increase in our economic productivity. While America and Japan may have different transportation and investment needs, our lack of investment still hurts our ability to compete in a tough global economy.
We're at a crossroads. The infrastructure isn't up to what we need it to be. The allocation of funds to maintain what was built in the 50s and 60s doesn't seem to be forthcoming. And if the transportation system deteriorates, the price that everyone pays for the products will go up.
That's our challenge. We must again be committed to building, maintaining, and investing in transportation in all modes that improves travel in our urban and rural areas, supports us in our jobs, and keeps our businesses competitive worldwide. It will take money. State transportation officials estimate we must increase spending by 20% just to stay even, and 50% to keep pace with travel increases on our roads. But it is one of the best investments America can make. Every dollar invested in highway improvements will end up saving $3 to $4 in the years ahead. So, we can pay the price for better transportation now, or pay the higher price of poor transportation for years to come. Our cities, counties, states, and federal government all have a role to play in improving our transportation system. But 1991 is a critical year at the federal level.
The American people must make this a bread and butter issue, because it really is. Without a good highway system, we simply can't have the kind of economy it takes to advance the standard of living of our citizens.
Federal aid to highways and transit must be reauthorized by Congress in 1991. And with the interstate system nearly completed, this is our once-in-a-generation opportunity for a new commitment to build a transportation system for America's future. Transportation is everybody's business, and a lot of us will be working together in the states and in Washington to see that needed investments are made. Work with us by joining the Transportation Alliance in your state or the National Transportation Alliance. It's America's road to a better future. We must keep America moving to keep America's place in the world. Let's get there together.